It's not easy. These people, they have been through a lot.
They have no home and they have no country.
We have to imagine being so afraid to stay here that we have to leave.
Our own Bill Neely was there as they came ashore.
They land with little but their dreams. They left everything behind, above all, war. Their suffering.
About a year ago, I was watching the news and in my bedroom, and I remember my husband came in, and I was just crying my eyes out, and he looked at me like I was insane. What is going on? And I was crying because I was watching these families on boats and these little kids dying. And I have kids, I have 3 children. And these families are doing this to save their children. Just like I would do, just like you would do, to save your family. And that's why I knew that I needed to get involved.
Our first family was from Darfur in Sudan, and this family had been living in Cairo for the last 10 years, and they had a small son, a 3-year-old, and our neighbor bought him a tricycle, and he started crying, and he said, "People in America are so nice." We're like, you know, some people are nice, but not everyone's nice. And he said, "People threw rocks at me in Cairo. I've never seen this kindness." And he started crying, and it just really touched me. I can't imagine what that's like to have no kindness in my life.
لما جيتوا هون شو أكتر إشي ساعدكم عشان تتعودوا على الحياة؟
والله هي أول شيء جيتنا كانت صعبة، يعني كنا لسه ما بنعرف حدا وما في لغة يعني بصراحة يعني.
You don't drive, you don't have a car, you have to go to school, you have to work, you take the bus. Always I will leave home around 7 in the morning and come back at 12 midnight every day in the winter. Yes. So that was difficult. And most of the refugees, they go through the same thing. Most of the time they need winter clothes and boots, because refugees, when they come here, most of them, they don't expect it to be as cold, because where most of them come from, it's very warm, so they come with warm clothes.
So a couple of years ago, we noticed that there were families coming in, mainly from Syria at the time, and they would get placed in homes, but not have everything they need to start their new life.
In the beginning, we started with one Syrian refugee family, and then from one it went to the next. And then we moved on to other families coming in from Iraq, Afghanistan, parts of Africa, Sudanese families, Somali families, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and the list grew.
There's certain resettlement agencies and interpreting agencies. They would tell us, hey, there's this family that is in need of certain things. Do you think that you guys as community members could maybe put some things together, like furniture and clothes and kitchen items, anything that like new families need to get started?
Pravina posted on social media in our neighborhood association that she worked with refugees and she needed donations.
people really wanted to help, and eventually we just got so many donations that like our garages were full, our basements, our dining rooms.
And we felt that just working out of my garage and a friend's garage was not going to help the great needs. So that's how it began.
I volunteer and sport at West Michigan Community Relief. We gave refugees a couple of things like books, sheets, and curtains. And it was really sad to walk in and see that the kids had barely anything. And it just made me want to help a lot.
I literally try and think about what it would be like if I had to leave my home and my family and flee, hopefully to Canada or to Mexico, to get away from a government that's trying to kill me. I can't even fathom what that must be like.
Some of the challenges that I think refugee families face when they get here obviously are being part of the community, having to communicate, learning how we live here is quite different than some other countries.
When you flee from your country, you have to go to a refugee camp first. My mom had to walk from Somalia to Kenya for 10 days with 3 children. The journey was long. It had like many people, but only like 10% survived to reach to Kenya. In there, we stayed for years before we were accepted, to come to the USA. That's a long time. Refugee camp is somewhere you don't have a job, no school. You wake up in the morning, your day is the same every day. We went to a refugee camp in 1993, and we came to the US in 2007. That's a long time, living the same life every day. You lose hope, you lose everything. But it's not easy. My family has been through a lot.
In Europe, we're now seeing anti-immigrant protests in the streets. And here at home, governors from more than half the states now want to close the door to Syrian refugees.
نقول لهم والله يعني سبحان الله الظروف صعبة يعني نأسف إنه نكون لاجئين لأن مع إنه كانت بلدنا من أرقى البلاد العربية يعني وأحلى البلاد بس سبحان الله الفتنة والطائفية هي اللي وصلت لهون. الموضوع مو مشكلة شعب، مشكلة حكومات، الموضوع مو مشكلة شعب، الشعب هو الضحية صفر.
I think people who are against refugees coming into our country do not understand what a refugee is.
They've said that when Muslims come into our country, all they do is blow people up. But I've seen these people, they're not bad. It kills me. No human should have to live through that.
A refugee leave their country to come here for freedom. Like, people experience so much during war. Like in Somalia, there was war in 1991. My dad was stabbed with a knife in his hand, and my uncle was killed, 2 of them, in front of my mom. Yeah, you don't speak about rape. That's normal. It gets to a point where it's normal. You see your daughter raped in front of you. You can't say anything. People have a gun, they will shoot you. So my mom said, this is enough. I need to leave this country and find somewhere safe. You don't even want to talk about it if you've been through it. But freedom is number 1. The rest comes after.
والله أكثر شيء الأمان يعني إنه هون في حسينا بالأمان كنا ما لنا حاسين بالأمان بنوب يعني حتى بمصر كونه كمان ما فيها شيء بس ما فيها ذاك الأمان ما فيها ذاك الخدمات يعني مثل هلا انا فرحان اكثر شيء فيه انه اولادي عم يدرسوا قدامي، انه اولادي الطبابه هون جيده جدا يعني هون. انا عانيت كثير بصحتي بمصر لما كنت بمصر، وعانيت خاصه موضوع الكلاوي بما انه ما في كانت المي مو ظابطه يعني. هون لقينا الحمد لله في فرق كبير يعني، واهم شيء دراسه الاولاد يعني.
I think WMCR has impacted the community by demonstrating that compassion and giving transcend religion, faith, politics. There are women who are atheists, who are Muslim, who are Christian, who are involved with WMCR. And really it's just about being compassionate, and that's a beautiful model to demonstrate to the community.
We have been able to give them new hope when they see furniture that's being given to them, all donated materials, pots and pans so they can cook and eat, clothing, socks so they can stay warm, boots, everything vital to just surviving initially.
ساعدتنا تقريبا يعني اغلب فرش البيت كان تقريبا من
يعني 90% كانت مساعده من
90% تقريبا مساعدات كانت منا. كانت حتى تساعدنا مثلا بوقت بدي اروح اجيب انا غراض، مثلا اذا بدي اجيب كانت هي الترانسبورتيشن تساعدني بالمواصلات، واي شيء مثلا كنا مثلا بدنا اياه، اي خدمه اي مساعده كانت ما تقصر معنا.
We're allowing them to feel like human beings again.
I grew up in Africa. I grew up partly in India and partly on the island of Papua New Guinea. So living in those different cultures has molded me to love and love every human, no matter where they're from.
I've been able to learn so much while working with West Michigan Community Relief. I've learned about other cultures, other countries, other ways of life. I have made friends for life, and I don't think I will ever give up doing this.
We have a real sense now of community, not just an international community, but a local community.
I would love for there not to be a need for WMCR anymore. I mean, the reason we exist is because there are people fleeing their countries or in desperate need of things. But I would love for us to not be needed and for their needs to be met because they are self-sufficient or because our society and community looks out for these people naturally.
I'm not going to let you in anymore.
Think about your mother or your grandmother and the house that she lives in and the life that she's built herself with her grandchildren, and think about what it would be like if somebody bombed her house and she literally had to run away in the middle of the night and she'll never see her grandchildren again. Just think about someone you love very much having to go through that, and open your heart and be compassionate.
The people that come here, they have families just like you and me.